Seriously now, did you really think you'd be worthy enough?
Well, excuse me. So Thor Ragnarok is about this villain that gets released from her imprisonment, and her name's Hela, and she's played by Cate Blanchett, and she basically wants to rule over Asgard. However, of course, Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, doesn't want that to happen. However, he just doesn't happen to be on the right planet. In fact, he's imprisoned on this other planet with the Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo, and so yeah, he's got to try and figure out how to get off that planet, get back onto Asgard, and save it. Kind of interesting, not gonna lie. And then of course Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston's thrown into the mix, and he does some good, he does some bad. He's just the anti-hero he's supposed to be. So I'm not a huge fan of the first two Thor films. I just don't think they're that great, especially compared to the rest of the MCU. I just think Thor as a character has a little bit of trouble of being the lead role. He's just not as interesting as like Captain America, the Hulk, or Iron Man. And so he just kind of lacks in that aspect for me. However, this movie doesn't follow the trend of the other two Thor movies. In fact, this movie's rather good. Like, it puts this aspect of comedy in it, and it really works really well for it. Like, I love this new aspect. And it's not overbearing or anything like that. In fact, if this movie didn't have that comedy aspect, it wouldn't be as good as it is. I mean, everyone was great in this film. Everyone had a joke to share, and they all fit in the scene very well. Like, it's not something like they're gonna go out of their way to do. Like, they're gonna make a joke and then the next scene they're just gonna act like it didn't happen. And so I kind of enjoyed that, just because it doesn't affect the story of the movie. It just continues right along. It just throws a little bit of a comical aspect into it, which obviously is really enjoyable, because who doesn't like to laugh? I mean, I was laughing pretty hard in the first 5 minutes of this movie. Like, that was honestly probably one of my favorite jokes of the film, was in the first 5 minutes. And then there's another joke where I was almost in tears. I was laughing so hard. It was just done really well, and I really enjoyed the comedy in this movie. And both those jokes were from Thor. They were from Chris Hemsworth. So, I mean, he's pretty funny, not gonna lie. However, of course, not every joke is going to have that type of reaction. Some of them are going to be chuckle-worthy, some of them are going to be pretty decent. However, just about every single joke that was made in here, I laughed in some type of way. And then there's this one guy, every time he's on screen, he makes me laugh. He just says something that's pretty funny. Yeah, that guy. Like, I don't remember his name, but I think the actor's actually the director, which is interesting. But every single time, he just made me laugh. I really like this character. Like, really, he's just the rock guy. I mean, look at him. Now, this movie is pretty funny, but it's not like Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're trying to make a joke like every second of the movie. Like, it gives a decent amount of time for story, some comedy, and then some action. And it balances out pretty well. Now, some of the action scenes aren't as great as I would have expected. However, then there's some other action scenes that are pretty interesting, where they do something a little bit different, which are pretty enjoyable. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but overall, they're pretty good. Now, I do feel like this movie did drag for like itty little bits of time, which really isn't that big of a deal, but that could also just because I was a little tired walking into the theater. But I wouldn't have minded if this movie was like 5 to 10 minutes shorter, which, I mean, that's a minor complaint. Some of the visual effects, you can tell they're standing in front of a green screen. Then there's some other visual effects where they look pretty sweet, not gonna lie. So, I mean, overall, I enjoyed the visual effects. I also enjoyed that retro type music that they put in this movie. However, I wish there was a little bit more of it. At least I didn't notice it all that much. But every time it played, I enjoyed it. And then there was this one lady, as she was walking out of the theater, she started singing. And it's not like a song from the movie or anything like that. She just started singing, I'm guessing from enjoyment of the movie. And I was just like, all right, you go, I guess. A little weird, but okay. I mean, I would mimic it, but I can't sing, so sorry about that. So overall, is this my favorite superhero movie? No, it's not. Is this my favorite Marvel movie? No, it's not. Is this my favorite superhero movie of 2017? No, but I'd say it's probably my second favorite. I mean, actually, my favorite of this year so far is actually Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is probably a lot of people's least favorite, because this has been a really solid year for superhero movies and just for movies in general. But yeah, surprisingly enough, that's my favorite so far this year. So I'm going to give Thor Ragnarok a 7 out of 9. It would be worth seeing at full ticket price. So I just got back from Thor Ragnarok, and this movie has a lot of positive praise. It's said to be a lot of fun and pretty funny. And obviously, you've already seen my review, so you know I think the same thing. Like, this is a pretty solid film. I mean, it's not quite as good as I was expecting, but it is really good. And the more I think about it, and as time goes by, the more I like it. So perhaps it will end up matching those expectations later on. But I do highly recommend this. It's definitely better than all the other Thor films. So thank you all very much for watching this. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more content like this. And remember, no movie is a perfect 10 out of 10. God bless you all. What are you doing here? Just because this is a Marvel movie review doesn't mean I have to have an after credit scene. Or does it? Well, I guess I'm already making one, so why not? Wish I would have thought about this during my Spider-Man Homecoming review, though. Oh well.